Hello everybody, and welcome to my world. If you're new here, I recommend clicking on this video first, as it provides good context to this world, but I'll try to catch everybody up to speed in this intro. So, if you're new here, this is a Minecraft world that I've been playing for about 5.5 years. For the first 2 months of this world, it was a multiplayer server for me and some friends, but for the majority of the server, it was just me and a good friend who played it, the two of us, and then for about the last 2.5 years, it has just been my single player world as they stopped playing. If you did watch the video I mentioned, you may recall that I wasn't sure if I wanted to make a series out of this world. In the end, I decided that, I have so many things going on in this world that I feel I do want to share, and I think it would be fun, to rope people, no, to bring people in, on their own terms, not forcefully, to bring them into this world so they can see what I'm doing and maybe be inspired or just enjoy watching me build up this world. So, if you did watch this video, I will catch you up on this. This is the mega base project that I started 4-something years ago. Throw some images of it on screen. From the end of that video, I finished filling out the bottom here. It is all layered up with glass, and I went and smoothed out the sides. As I mentioned, I wasn't always planning to record this as a series, so I don't have footage of me lying down on the concrete. However, I do have some clips of me smoothing out the sides here. My first recording attempt humorously did not have any audio, which I'll play for you, but then afterwards I did get my audio working. Enjoy the video. And welcome. Back to this. Whoa, okay, forgot there was a drop in the floor there. But the goal of today is to finish digging this pit, which there's not a whole lot left to do, but it's not nothing. Based off the last video, the biggest changes from that are obviously I finished the pit. It's all a layer of I'm gonna say black stone, but black concrete covered by a layer of black glass. Only other things I've done in the meantime are relatively minor. I was able to collect all the music discs, which was a big achievement for me. I've been trying to collect all the armor trims in the game. I'm missing this one, which comes from End Cities. Missing one here from Jungle Temples. Then this one is the Silence armor trim, which, if you don't already know, is one of the hardest armor trims to get in this game. Pull up the map here. Like, I went to an ancient city here. Ancient city, like, here. Ancient city here. Four or five ancient cities, and not a single one of them dropped Silence armor trim. My goal right now is to clean up this mess, because it's the only... I mean, there's some mess here too, but this is really the only eyesore. It's the biggest eyesore. So I guess, I mean, like, there's a lot of caves. Why are there so many bats? Did they all... Whoa. What? Okay. I like having the map, so I got this map, but, like, obviously, it's a map mod. You can set waypoints. I don't like that. I like my good old reliable lodestone compass. Like that. Perimeter. While non still to be polished is dug out. Alright, so we just feels very surreal after working on this project so long. The mining part of this operation is done. Those obsidian that marks something important, so we're not gonna get rid of that. Yeah, we have finished the digging part of this assignment. Now, the next step to work on is going to be a storage system, because leave that guy there for a second since he can just fly whatever. Trying to grab all the resources I need with my non-existent storage system is going to be a pain. Like, I have diamond ore here along with a bunch of bones, and it's a mess, so that's the first thing I want to do, but that's going to require a lot of chests I don't have. Over here is where I've been getting all of my wood for the past while, just, you know, growing the spruce trees and whatever. But I'm thinking I want to revamp this whole area, give it a little makeover, and then there's this tree farm design from Nicolier, I think I'm pronouncing that right, that I want to build over here in this forest, but before I build it, I want to tear these trees down and expand this mountain over here and grow a few more of these big spruce trees. Make this like a little more of a secluded wooden area, and then have the tree farm as the center. So here's just the footage of me destroying some of the terrain and then building the mountain up around it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't love the mountain, but, you know, it's my first time trying something like this, and, you know, never gonna get good if I never try, so it's okay. Alright, and so as you can see, we have, I have come in and filled out some of the trees to make this a bit of a forest look. Fly up so you can get a sort of view of the outside. It's not perfect, but, you know, it doesn't have to be. I just kind of want to create a sort of foresty vibe. So the next step is going to be actually making the tree farm. So turn it on. Here's my Lightmatica render. Lightmatica is a mod that lets you kind of create blueprints. This is what the farm is going to look like and the position it's going to be. And you can see beforehand I collected all the resources we're going to be needing to build this farm. So yeah, we're just gonna get started. So I'm gonna come out and be honest. This farm did not require me to dig all of that land away. I just didn't know how the schematic went, so just to be safe, I dug it out. I did watch the tutorial for how to make this farm, but it was a while ago, and I'm just gonna kind of hope that I can do it right.
Then place down a handy sign and pillar up 2 blocks and branch over 2 blocks.
well, the farm is now completed, and hopefully I did everything right and it won't blow up in my face. Basically, everything is done. All that's left to do is just set these item filters. How this farm works is you sit here. I mean, you turn it on first. Then as you're sitting here, need to put bone meal in here, but it will be giving you bone meal that you'll put in your offhand, and then you'll have a stack of saplings, and you'll just sit here, and you'll be placing saplings and then bone meal in them. Everything is going to be blown up by the TNT duper up there, which is going to fall down, break all of the saplings and logs, and everything is going to filter through here, and it's going to squirt by here, so it will be giving you saplings so you don't run out. I'm going to test it in a little bit, but the other thing I want to make is a moss farm. Now, I want to make a moss farm mainly just to immediately turn it into bone meal. I'm thinking I'm going to make it so it just flows directly into the chest there. So I'm thinking of, I mean, I'm going to do the measurements, but I'm thinking of just building the moss farm in this mountain and just kind of having like a pipe of hoppers come to deliver the bone meal. Before we start making the moss farm, I want to make sure the farm we built actually works. So my understanding of this farm is you keep your inventory basically full of stuff that you're not going to pick up. So actually, I'm just going to chuck in sticks, spruce logs, and the leaves, and then I'll fill the rest of my inventory out with dirt, except for these two. See if this actually works. Yeah, I think I missed something here. Okay, so, oops. The farm didn't blow itself up, which is the good thing. Clearly, I did something wrong with this bone meal dispenser. So I'm gonna go solve that issue. Okay, so I think I solved the issue. I switched it from a cross to a dot, and that seemed to have solved my issues. And I think I can restart this and be good to go. Oh yeah. Let's see how well this farm goes. Okay, so I used the farm for like less than a minute. The amount of bone meal we used didn't last that long. A few mistakes. I forgot to set up the item filters properly, but that doesn't matter because we still should have gotten items in like less than a minute of running this thing. Let's see, we got over a stack of wood, which I think is pretty good. And then we started with, I think, 13 saplings. We ended with 42. So again, for like less than a minute of running a farm, it's pretty good. I'm really happy this thing works. I was really worried the TNT duper would like mess up and blow everything up. But now just need to figure out what we're doing with the moss farm. It just so happened that Halloween came around while I was working on this episode, and while I was unable to record my voice at the time, still decided to record some footage of me hunting some of the jack-o'-lantern enemies that spawn on Halloween. Okay, so I'm looking at our mountain here, and I looked at the schematic for the moss farm. It's 17 by 13 by 17, and I mean, like, just visually looking at it, it looks like I can't really fit that well into the mountain unless I dig down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, dig into the mountain. So we'll have the pipe coming out here for the bone meal, but then I'll build an entrance into the mountain, maybe like back here, kind of behind the tree, sort of hidden away. And what we'll do is dig down. So I guess I can just get started. Yeah, I'll just dig into the mountain a little here. So you will, yeah, we'll sneak through the mountain. I'll come into a little control room here, and I'm thinking basically here, maybe we have, like right here, we'll have some chests for bone meal. And then, like, beyond the wall, outside of what we can see, is the pathway delivering it to the tree farm. But what we'll have here is a lever to switch, have a lever here to switch between sending the bone meal to the farm and to storage, and obviously we'll also have another lever just for turning the farm on and off. Yeah, just looking the side of the mountain, I'm thinking the actual moss farm is going to be a little deeper down. Okay, so have most of the basics worked out for the moss farm, but I'm gonna come over here and grab like kind of last of the bone meal here. The reason I'm grabbing the bone meal is you need moss to make a moss farm, and this is all the moss I have. So I figure out that in the process of tearing down this area, I can turn some of the stone into moss to collect it. So the area has been cleared out. I know I said earlier the farm was 17 by 13 by 17, but I have dug out a 19 by 17 by 19 area just to give breathing room for the machine. So I excavated with moss until I ran out of bone meal, and so that way hopefully I won't need to make another moss farm for a while, because this moss farm is just for bone meal for tree farm and other uses. Now what's left to do is just gather up all the resources for the moss farm. This right here is why I'm so excited to build the storage system. I have no idea where my glass is. I mean, look at that mountain. I gotta do something with that later. So I have finished finally collecting all of the resources for the moss farm. It took way longer than I thought. as part of it was I had to set up this temporary pumpkin farm, put it next to the jack-o'-lantern guy I captured on Halloween to bring it more luck, but yeah, I also grabbed a bunch of extra powdered stone because we'll be needing a lot of it to build the sorting machines in the storage room. And yeah, I also added to the to-do list to build a pumpkin and melon farm, so hopefully we don't ever have to be slowed down by pumpkins. So this farm design that I'm making right here is by Monica, and show on screen right now the video that I roughly followed. But the actual schematic I'm following and building here is from the TMC catalog. Leave a link in the description to their Discord server. It's basically just a Discord server where redstone experts and just like people who play survival Minecraft share a lot of survival friendly farms like this moss farm and some tree farm designs that I didn't use in this video and some that I might make in a future video. So yeah, I would recommend checking them out if you are interested in making farms like this in your world. Okay, so the bone meal farm is now done. It's quite simple way it works. You have, this bone meal dispenser here that creates the moss, turns the stone into moss, and we have water up here to turn the lava and water into more stone, turn into more moss that gets turned into bone meal. So let's. I'm actually really nervous. Let's hope this works. That sounds like it's working. Now just gotta wait for bone meal to hopefully start showing up. Here it is. Okay, I'm looking at my recording. I'm gonna let this go for 1 minute to see how much we get. Okay. It's, I ran it for a full minute. So this is slightly complicated by the fact that I did have bone meal in my inventory. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do that over again. Okay, so I ran another test and only got 33 bone meal in a minute, which is really disappointing, but then I came to the realization that this farm is self-sufficient, so some of the bone meal I'm making is going back into these dispensers to run the farm. So until the farm is completely filled with bone meal, I'm not actually going to be able to see the full result. So I grabbed some bone meal and bones, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start filling out what I can, and then I'm gonna let the machine run for a while just so I can get the rest of the bone meal to fill out this farm. Alright, so I might have gotten a little carried away, and instead of stopping after I filled up the farm and actually testing the rates with it full of bone meal, I decided to start preparing to build what the control room is going to look like, as well as then starting to collect some redstone supplies, because my redstone shulker box was running a little low, and eventually finish automating the farm with waterways and everything else to make it a fully functioning moss farm. After testing a few things, I think the moss area is now ready. So, as you can see, I designed this little control room with storage and also these buttons to control everything. I'll explain what all these buttons do in a minute, but want to give the tour. So here's the backstage access, where we have the farm, And then we have that water line. That water line runs down there, comes this way, and then up. This water stream, I do some shenanigans up here with that slab and this stair to make sure the items don't get stuck in like the depression of the hopper. Yeah, and then I have these item filters here because very occasionally moss items will make their way through, and then I just compost them and then dispense them out. It follows this water stream goes out, or it can go into the storage system, and that is what this lever does. You can hear the pistons moving. Those pistons move the water block, ice block, so I switch it to storage and head back up here. See, now the water flows the other direction towards the storage area. And then I just have a little simple system for that. This power button, you press it and it sends a signal all the way down to the farm. Now the reason I have this T flip-flop mechanism here is I'm gonna disconnect the redstone so I don't start the farm. If you notice, when you click the power button, this whole system triggers twice. This T flip-flop makes it so a signal is only sent once. Now, you may be wondering why this happens, but, you know, an observer, it detects block changes. Even though it looks like this copper light just turns on and off, it actually, every time you click the button, it has two updates because you're powering it, and then the button comes back, powering it off. And I just realized I had it hooked up, so, we are going to, hopefully see this, thing working. We should be seeing... Yes. Okay, that works. And then while it's running, I can explain this last switch. So that switch turns off, activates this circuit here, which moves that piston down and locks all these hoppers. Now, the purpose of that is, bone meal is used to make bone blocks. So right here, I have a auto crafter set up to collect the to turn the bone meal into bone blocks. The way this works is this comparator detects if items are in here. Then I have this full of bone meal, so this comparator only sends out a signal when this is completely full of bone blocks, at which point this signal will come out and this will activate the crafter to craft item. Then this comes down and unlocks this hopper. Both of these hoppers, because if left unlocked, all the bone meal will just flow through and won't fill the hopper. So we've been like running it for only a short while, and we're already at just 3 stacks. And now, the moment of truth, I want to see if my crafter works. Fingers crossed. I haven't tested it. Okay. Okay, it's a lot slower because it's 1/9 as slow as we get bone meal. And then if I switch it off, okay, yeah, it goes back. I'm very happy with this farm. It took a while to set up all this wiring, but yeah, I am very happy we now have a working bone meal farm. Yeah, awesome. Alrighty, so now that the moss farm is ready, it's time to finally start working towards the main event. Now, I've done some editing on the video, and we're already like 33 minutes in at this point, so I'm gonna have to cut down on the montages and just kind of get straight to it. So we're gonna need copper as well as pale oak. which I already did the process of mining out manually because I don't want to build yet another farm just to prepare for the main event. And it's funny, kind of big part of this video is the fact that we finished digging out this pit, but we're spending most of the episode ignoring it, and even the storage room, its entrance will be in the pit, but it's going to be mostly underground here. Oops. So we are going to go to a trial chamber to collect the copper we're going to need, and if memory serves me right, I think on this island there's some trial chambers that we can loot. Whoa, everything's lagging. Alright, I think it should be okay. Yep, there it is. Let's just get right to it. Did I really just leave a staircase here? Do I not have a hole to drop down? Okay, I guess I don't. Alrighty. So, right. I did not think about that part. Okay, hold on guys, just give me a minute. I'll deal with you. Right, jockey. Alright, so I'm still gonna have to fight these, but I'm going to cover them up in the hopes that they won't activate because they are based off of eyesight. Okay. Oh, okay, I guess covering them up stops them from spawning more things. Yeah, so covering up trial spawners apparently completely activates them. Now, very important thing I want to test. I'm using a lot of cut copper, so boom. That is incredibly useful. I assumed it would do that, but I didn't know for sure. But anyways, I'm just gonna get down to mining all this copper. All sides. Ah! Get out of here. Please. You're so annoying. Gosh. Okay. Here's the fun part, where I don't prepare for these fights, and then I run out of food mid-fight. They send you up so high. Wait, what is... Alright, so I have finished clearing out most of the copper from this trial chamber. So now all that's left to do is get this stuff all back to base. I extended the chest monster a little bit to get the extra choker boxes, and now all that's left to do is go and gather the rest of the resources that we will be needing to build the storage system, which is a lot, and then we will be ready to start the storage system. Alright, so we're back, and we now have the storage system figured out. This is just a little platform I made to serve as like the entry point, and we have these little water spouts to let us leave the storage soon. All these chests will eventually be gone. Uh, they're just here to store items temporarily. And I must say, building this storage system did not go to plan. I did not expect to have to clear out so much lava and deal with the ravine and recording for building some of these areas, like this room right here. My like time-lapse footage like corrupted or something. But anyways, so we have this entrance here. I'm using the new shelves blocks. And again, these chests are temporary. These ones along here are just storing the resources I collected. And over here is some of the redstone we'll need to build all the machines of the storage system. And you may be wondering, if I'm trying to build a storage system, why would I just create more of a mess for myself? Well, I need cobblestone, because I need a lot of droppers to make the storage system. And I want you to guess how much cobblestone 15 stacks of droppers requires. If you haven't already done the math, it's 105 stacks of cobblestone. That it takes 105 stacks of cobblestone to create 15 stacks of droppers. And I know most people will not make that many droppers, but 15 stacks of droppers isn't like an insane number, but it takes 105 stacks of cobblestone, which is why I went through the effort of collecting my resources while I mined. But anyways, then coming into this main open area, that block there, I'm really proud of this dome. This is not my usual building style, trying something new. But this is the center room. It's the intersection between all the different rooms. Have this water feature in the center, which I'll eventually turn into an aquarium. That's a there that needs to be fixed. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, I eventually plan to have like some tropical fish and stuff floating down there. Coming into here, this is going to be our main storage system, where we're going to have just items loosely sorted, so each one of these stacks is going to be a different category. So this is going to be like nether blocks, and then it would just be an assortment of nether related blocks. Coming over here, this is going to be the control room. In here is where we'll throw all our items to be sorted, so shoot shulker boxes full of stuff in here. This is just loose items. I don't have them labeled, but this is going to be empty shulker boxes. And then this is going to be where I input shulker boxes for the bulk storage, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And then here, behind the glass, it's going to be the non-stackable item sorter. So all of our enchanted books, flint and steels, minecarts, boats, all the items that don't normally stack are going to go there. This is going to be our overflow, so if we throw too many items in the system, they'll eventually just end up in here. And then finally, this stack of stuff right here is going to be our, non-sorted. Any item that doesn't have a place in the storage system will make its way into this column. Now, I added this sneaky little path back here to let us get to the backstage, because, as you can see, none of the storage system actually exists yet, and I dug out such a large area, that way we had room to actually put in all the machines and sorters. Now finally is the bulk storage. Now this bulk storage room is going to be for items like our sand, gravel, cobblestone, any blocks that we have a large amount of that would just clog up our main storage. And now you can see I've sort of started to build the redstone here, because if I select Matica mod, you can see that the bulk storage, the interior, is part of the redstone machinery, so I decided to just build in one go. And there's a really cool feature in Matica that I'll be using for this farm. So I've been using Matica normally, just to help me build. So I'll go, okay, redstone repeater goes here, and then it's orange because, you know, if you look in the top corner, it tells me why it's orange. It means it's not right, and I generally just use it as a tool to help make sure I have everything in place. But as you can see with this farm, you have a bunch of observers and droppers and everything that needs to be in exactly the right place, and it's kind of hard to position all the redstone components in the right place. And given I did not design this given I did not design this redstone machine and everything needs to be perfect for it to work, deciding to use a nice Limatica feature called Easy Place, where I can just hold down place and it will start placing in items for me. You can see it automatically pickpockets them, so I don't have to worry about making sure they're in the right orientation. It just places all the blocks for me. And I will be using that to build out this machine to make it easier for ourselves. And so anyways, I'm just gonna cut to a quick time lapse of me building up all of the machines. And welcome back. So as you can see behind me, I've started to sort the items and label what chests or what categories. But before I get into that, what has been for you about maybe 15 seconds? I don't know how long the montage of me building this system is going to be. It has probably been about 3 weeks for me. It has been 3 weeks between starting to build the machine and now. Not because I couldn't build it, but because there are so many factors. My computer started acting up, and then I got another one. And then, I decided it would be fun to maybe try Linux because, free myself from the Microsoft ecosystem. But then, no, then that just took ever longer as I slowly realized that the recording format that I use in the OBS settings won't work on an open source software. I started recording this video in September. It is December 15th as I am saying this, and I know it will take probably 2 more days until I finish recording. If you liked the quality of this video, don't expect to see it again, because I do not want to spend 3 months on a video again. On a Minecraft video I thought would take a month max. Anyways, I added some axolotls to this pond area here. You can't really see them all well because they like to hide all in the bottom. Not sure why I made sure all the water blocks are all sources, but anyways, yeah, so I've started to label all these categories. The storage system I used is a multi-item storage, so yeah, each kind of row of 5 chests is a different category, so I have like the different types of wood in each section, and then I have cherry slash foliage for like cherry wood, like all the minerals, redstone. Yeah, and I have some stuff here. I haven't actually sorted everything yet, just kind of threw stuff in here just to test that the machine works. But I'm gonna show you how the actual machine works. So, come in here, you'll deposit either full shulker boxes or or just loose items in here, and I'll show you the path they go on. So, over here is the shulker setup. It'll take the shulker boxes from here. It'll detect once items come through to move this piston and then activate this dropper. And then the shulker will be dispensed here on top of this hopper. All the items will go down there. And then once the hopper and the shulker box is clear, the shulker box will be kicked out and flow over there. This is not my design. I'm just going to be flashing the designs I used for each of these projects just on screen as I get to each section. That way, I don't have to sit here and try to remember what everybody built. But I did add this little system here in the glass. This is just a little system to activate this copper bulb, sorry, to power this copper bulb, so I can know whether a shulker box is currently in the process of being made. But anyways, all the items from the input end up flowing through here. This is just a little system to detect if they're non-stackable items. If they're a non-stackable item, they'll flow down this line, head up there to the non-stackable item sorter. Whoa, that sent me way higher than I was expecting. Yeah, and then this is just a non-stackable item sorter, so this will sort the shears, minecarts, books, and whatnot. But everything else will be sent along this hopper line, up this dropper chain, into the main sorting system. I actually quite enjoyed building this. I started getting into the groove of how to build each of these modules. So like every chest power rail setup is one of these modules, and here's where all the items are placed for the sorting system. So just put 2 of each item you want to go into the unit here, and then it will be sorted and make its way into the chests. If none of the items get sorted, they'll get placed into this system over here. This is the unsorted items will all flow back into the unsorted item chest in the main control room, and then have an overflow. So if like these chests start to get filled all the way up, the items will then flow into this hopper line, which will head to the, will come along, flow through this water stream to end up in the overflow chests. And in case you're wondering why there's so many composters around, if you put a composter or any kind of like inventory sort of thing, I might be saying the wrong terms here, but if you put something like a composter on top of a hopper, it stops trying to like detect items from above it, which reduces lag, and given how many hoppers there are around here, figured that would be a necessary step. Now, the thing I've been really excited for is to come up here and finally get rid of all these chests and shulkers and have to not deal with this mess anymore. So, one final time lapse of this episode where I sort everything and then I'm free. Then I'll finally be free. Alright, welcome back. We are done sorting all of our items. As you can see, they're not going to go through all the chests, but yeah, we have successfully moved everything from the old system back into this system. And you might have noticed things are a little different here. So, this thing takes a while to sort. It took a couple of hours for this thing to finish sorting. It's not a super fast storage system, but, you know, as you saw, we were sorting, like probably close to, like, 54 shulkers. Normally, I'm probably only going to be throwing, like, 3 or 4 from, like, going on an exploration or doing a project into here. And so we don't have to worry about waiting super long. But since I had nothing better to do with my time, I built this little coral area. If you saw in the other footage, I had a bunch of empty space under the floor here, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I decided, you know, I can make it a little water area, decorate it with coral, because, while I am waiting for all the sorting to finish, I can sit here, and I gave it sky access so we can actually fish here for treasure. And I figured, you know, this is just something fun to do while waiting for all the items to sort. Anyways, with, oh yeah. Oh wait, I already talked about the axles. Anyways, that's all we have for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. This video took a lot of effort, and I'm super happy with it. And if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I'm hoping in the future to not take 3 months to make a video, so hopefully I'll start making more regular content. But yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a comment, like, subscribe. If you have any ideas for what I can do in this world, please let me know. And also, one last thing, almost forgot, I'd appreciate if you guys could help me come up with names for our 2 glow squids that we have living here in our pond. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.